In 1993, WWE held an event in the parking lot of Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. Lackluster matches, cheesy aesthetic, and a washed-up Hulk Hogan overshadowing the up-and-coming star Bret Hart led to the event being considered one of the worst WrestleManias of all time. 32 years later, the WWE returns to Sin City to step up to the table and take another roll of the dice. This time, will Lady Luck be on the company's side to help put on a show that will make up for the past and give the city of second chances a mania to remember?
Almost certainly. What a dumb question that is. I'm not really sure why I asked it, frankly. The WWE's been on a hot streak lately, in a much better place than it was in 1993. Probably the most gravest year in the company's history. Things have changed a lot since then. At the time, the roster was filled with goofy cartoon characters. The attendance and pay-per-view buy rates were starting to drop to levels that they wouldn't recover from for years, and a Vince McMahon scandal taking attention away from the product. Well, I guess some things never change. Sure, their first major event was a disappointment, but throughout the years, the WWE has course-corrected and gave the Neon City some memorable moments. And what better way to hype up WrestleMania 41 than to take a look back at some? Be it title changes, pipe bombs, or Raw roulettes, the city in the desert played host to some historic memories. Oh, and to let you in on a little secret, majority of these entries didn't take place in Las Vegas, but Paradise, Nevada, a town adjacent to Vegas. But we don't have to tell anyone that. You know what they say, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Or in this instance, what happens in Paradise will say happened in Vegas. Vegas is known for its glitz and glamour. A simple singles match won't suffice for such a captivating city. So what better way to spice up your wrestling show than to add the equivalent of a shiny object to your match? The gimmick. WWE understood this well, making sure their Vegas shows had plenty of unique stipulations to match the city's decadence. So much so that they created an entire gimmick for some of their TV tapings that were filmed there. Raw Roulette. It was a genius idea I wish they would use more often. Every match on the show would have stipulations added to them determined by the spin of a large roulette wheel. 3 Raws and 1 SmackDown roulette show took place in Vegas, leading to many memorable bouts, including some rare stipulations like blindfold matches, a no count-out match, and a flag match. The event also had some one-time stips that we'd never seen before or since, like when Trish Stratus defeated Stacy Keibler in a bra and panties paddle on a pole match for the women's championship. A respectful set of rules where to win you would need to remove the clothing of your opponent down to their bra and panties, and your reward, besides the woman's title, was to spank the loser with a paddle. Could you even imagine Nia Jax versus Bayley in this type of match nowadays? Another notable one-time only match was the Las Vegas Showgirls match, where William Regal would defeat Goldust. The twist to this match being the competitors had to dress and drag in the style of a Vegas showgirl, to the detriment of Regal, but right up Goldust's alley. The event also had 2 tables matches, with Sheamus defeating Damian Sandow, and in a huge upset, R-Truth defeated John Cena, during that small window of time where R-Truth was a main eventer.
I got okey doke by little Jimmy.
The Big Show had a monopoly when it came to cage matches that took place in Vegas, facing Booker T in 2002 and Alberto Del Rio in 2011, but came out on the losing end of both. But the first match I think of when I hear Raw Roulette is TLC 4. As a 12-year-old kid, I couldn't buy pay-per-views, so when they had a free TLC match on TV, it was cemented in my brain as a cornerstone moment. Kane had to defend his tag team titles against 3 other teams alone, when his tag partner, the Hurricane, could not compete. It was a violent, spectacular spectacular car crash, which led to Bubba Ray Dudley suffering a concussion after a bulldog from the top of the ladder. Chris Jericho had to walk a spaced out Bubba through the rest of the spots.
So I'm looking at you, and I'm like, Bubba, and you're just out in space, just lost. You're like, huh? You got to climb the ladder. And your greatest response was, how do you climb a ladder?
It was also fun to see the team up of Jeff Hardy and Rob Van Dam, which of course contributed to some high-risk spots. Kane would grab the titles after a chokeslam to Jericho off the ladder. I would like to say this is when the show went off the air, but something would happen after this that started one of the darkest storylines in WWE history. But more on that later. Stepping away from the roulette wheel
is ready to.
All right, what's the show? You go back to the tunnels? Back to the tunnels.
Sin City was also the host of 4 Elimination Chambers, the first of 2 taking place at the 2008 No Way Out event, the show that started the tradition of 2 chambers in one night that would evolve into Elimination Chamber event itself. Each match would determine who was going to face the World Heavyweight and WWE Champion at WrestleMania 24. After the dust was settled, The Undertaker punched his ticket for the World Heavyweight Championship shot, and Triple H won the right to face the WWE Champion at the Show of Shows. 10 years later, the Chamber would return to Las Vegas. In the first match of the night, Alexa Bliss would retain her Raw Women's Championship against Sasha Banks, Bayley, Mickie James, Sonya Deville, and Mandy Rose. And in the first ever 7-man Elimination Chamber, Roman Reigns would hold off the dominance of Braun Strowman to earn the right to face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 34. 2008 wasn't the only No Way Out event to take place in the city. In 2001, the first ever 3 Stages of Hell match would take place at the pay-per-view, with a 2 out of 3 falls rule where each fall had its own stipulation attached. Stone Cold was looking to seek his revenge on Triple H for orchestrating a hit-and-run attack on him from the year before. The first fall was a singles match that Stone Cold would win. The match evolved into a street fight which saw Triple H get a mark on the board. The final fall came down to a steel cage match where the Cerebral Assassin would win in his second straight fall, after still one of my favorite finishes to a match ever, when both opponents hit each other with a barbed wire 2x4 and a sledgehammer at the same time. Triple H just so happened to collapse on Austin to get the win. Triple H had another violent showdown in 2005 when he went up against Batista in a Hell in a Cell at Vengeance. A very underrated match that doesn't get enough love. In a town full of risk, what better match to take place there than the All or Nothing Money in the Bank? Alberto Del Rio, Cesaro, Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Dean Ambrose rolled the dice to see who would get the opportunity to challenge for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. The Lunatic Fringe would go on to win the match, then to make history later that night, which we'll get to soon. After a 6-year hiatus, the briefcase would hang above Vegas again. This time, Liv Morgan and Austin Theory would walk out with the contracts. Another multi-person ladder match just took place last year at the UFC Apex venue for the inaugural NXT Women's North American Championship at Battleground. The same show would host an NXT Underground match, pitting Lola Vice against Shayna Baszler. A match with no ropes and a roster of wrestlers cheering at ringside. The only way to win is knockout, submission, or by ref's decision. The former of which was the outcome when the ref called the match for Lola Vice. Vince McMahon doesn't have much luck when it comes to Vegas.
Truth is, the game was rigged from the start.
Not once but twice was he beaten down by 2 of his own employees. Now, this isn't a strange occurrence in the 90s or 2000s, but both moments happened in 2013 and 2017. The first beatdown was given by a returning Brock Lesnar, who was interrupting a classic McMahon, "You're fired," towards Paul Heyman. Before Vince could finish the termination, Lesnar came to the ring to White Knight for Heyman, hitting McMahon with an F5. The next Vegas beatdown happened in 2017 when Vince McMahon was chastising Kevin Owens for attacking his son Shane. After giving his permission to beat a McMahon senseless if provoked, Owens proceeded to hit the headbutt heard round the world, busting the 72-year-old open. When the chairman refused to stay down, Owens followed it up with a super kick and a frog splash for good measure. In 2014, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose were at each other's throats after Seth turned his back on the Shield to sell his soul to the Authority. Sick and tired of Ambrose getting in his way on his journey to become champion, Rollins would look to take Ambrose out once and for all. During their Falls Count Anywhere match on Raw, Seth Rollins, with the help from Kane, would curb stomp Ambrose into a stack of cinder blocks.
KO.
Let's head back to the first Raw Roulette. After Kane single-handedly defended his tag titles against 3 other teams, Triple H would make his way out to start one of the most controversial, darkest storylines in WWE history.
How happy is Katie Vick? You are a murderer.
Yes, Las Vegas was the birthplace of the Katie Vick storyline. If you don't know what that is, consider yourself lucky. Our last moment may be one of the biggest promos in wrestling history. When CM Punk dropped a pipe bomb on Las Vegas. A distraught Punk, only weeks away from his legendary WWE title match with John Cena at Money in the Bank 2011, would go on a tirade about his feelings on things that were going on in the modern landscape of WWE. Lambasting the McMahons,
that maybe this company will be better after Vince McMahon's dead.
John Cena,
I don't hate you, John. I hate this idea that you're the best.
and even the fans.
Let me get something straight. Those of you who are cheering me right now, you are just the biggest part of me leaving as anything else. And then at 5 in the morning at the airport, you try to shove it in my face so you can get an autograph and try to sell it on eBay.
People that weren't watching at the time may not realize how cathartic this was for the audience, making Punk the voice of the voiceless and launching him into legend status. In a city all about winning, what better way to close out this video than to take a look back at all the championships that have changed hands in the city of second chances. Starting off at WrestleMania 9, we had the two most depressing title changes on this list. Bret Hart was beaten by Yokozuna to end his first WWE title run in underwhelming fashion. Yokozuna then challenged Hulk Hogan right then and there, putting his newly won title on the line for some reason, only to end with Hulk Hogan holding the title above his head 22 seconds later. The 5th episode of SmackDown was where one of the strangest WWE title changes took place, when Vince McMahon, yes, the chairman of the company, beat Triple H with the help of Stone Cold to capture the WWE title. 2 championship wins would bookend the 2001 No Way Out event. The first was when Big Show defeated Raven, and a number of other wrestlers trying to exploit the 24/7 rule to walk out of Las Vegas with the hardcore title. In the night's main event, The Rock would defeat Kurt Angle to win the WWE title to set up the legendary Austin vs. Rock WrestleMania 17 showdown. On the February 4th, 2002 episode of Raw, Jazz would beat Trish Stratus to win the Women's Championship only 2 months in her run with the company. This next entry may be the first time a father defeated a son for a WWE title.
Mine?
If I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments. During a 2004 SmackDown, Chavo Guerrero Jr. put his cruiserweight title on the line in a triple threat match against Spike Dudley and his father, Chavo Guerrero Sr. Chavo Classic used the family motto of lying, cheating, and stealing to take the title from his baby boy. Only a few days after WrestleMania 26, where Jack Swagger won the Money in the Bank contract, he'd cash in on Chris Jericho to take his World Heavyweight Championship in a shocking moment. But this wasn't the only Money in the Bank cash-in Vegas would see. 6 years later during the event, Roman Reigns put his WWE World Heavyweight Championship on the line against his former Shield brother Seth Rollins. After a hard-fought battle, the Architect would win the match. But the celebration was cut short when Dean Ambrose cashed in his Money in the Bank contract that he won earlier in the night to take the championship away from Rollins. Within a few moments, all three members of the Shield held the greatest prize in the industry in the Neon City. A childhood dream came true in 2017 for a lifelong fan. In the Raw main event, Bayley would capture her first world title from Charlotte Flair, starting her journey to the multi-time champion we know today. In the third of 3 Vegas Money in the Bank cash-ins, Liv Morgan followed in Dean Ambrose's footsteps and cashed in on the same night to win the SmackDown Women's Championship from Ronda Rousey. Just last year, we saw the first NXT Women's North American Champion crowned after a 6-woman ladder match. The finish saw Kalani Jordan holding the brand spanking new belt on top of the ladder to start the lineage of the NXT Women's North American title. Hey y'all, I'd like to thank you kindly for sticking around to the end of the video. This outro was supposed to be a little bit more elaborate. I had some Bengal Tigers, 20 Vegas Showgirls. I had David Blaine on container to do a few magic tricks in the background. It was going to be this big elaborate show, but things fell apart. It's just a lot of crazy stuff happening, and that's why I'm giving you this quick little end of the video, because I got to get past it so I can start on my next video. I can't finish the video like I wanted to, but anyway, according to my analytics, there's probably only like 30 of you that watch this video. Maybe one person got to this ending part. So if you're one of those people, leave a comment saying that you're a Sunset Warrior because you're the man or woman, whatever. But here's hoping for some more memorable moments this April at WrestleMania 41 in the Neon City, Las Vegas. Peace.